Hello everyone, and welcome to my General Hospital Today channel. Drew's fierce threat, Rocco caught in crossfire, Ned's or outcome. Drew Cain will deliver a fierce threat while Rocco Falconeri could get caught in the crossfire. Ned Quartermaine's loved ones will also await his or outcome, so here's what viewers can expect. For starters, Brook Lynn Quartermaine will come running following news on Ned's heart attack. Brook Lynn will be in panic mode at GH, where she will inquire about Ned's health status. Lucas Jones just revealed that Ned would need an emergency bypass, so there'll be a bit of a waiting game at the hospital. Harrison Chase will console Brook Lynn until Ned's or outcome is revealed, but he should be just fine in the end. At some point, Brook Lynn will no doubt thank Giovanni Gio Palmieri and Emma Scorpio Drake for finding Ned following his collapse. Emma and Gio will continue to give Britt Westbourne all the credit for coming to Ned's rescue, but Britt won't feel very heroic when she opens up to Jason Morgan later. Jason always sees the good in Britt and will keep urging her to have a better view of herself as well. Britt and Jason's discussion will ultimately get derailed, so there could be a couple of reasons why. It's possible Pascal will pop up and spook Britt since a run-in should be coming up soon for them. It's also possible Britt will find out about the lab break-in since the teens are about to sneak in there without Emma and Gio. Because Charlotte Cassadine was successful in obtaining the key, she will immediately begin working on a devious strategy with Rocco and Danny Morgan. Since Professor Henry Hank Dalton will have some truly awful timing on Wednesday's show, he may bust the teen crew and alert Britt soon enough. As for Laura Collins, she'll open up to Martin Gray about Rocco potentially getting caught in the crossfire. Since Rocco is both Laura and Sonny Corintho's grandson, that could put him at the center of the voting drama that's still playing out. Of course, Laura may have yet another reason to fret over Rocco once this lab break-in plot inevitably ends in disaster. Since Willow Tate is on bail, Alexis Davis will be concerned that a disaster could be brewing for her if she doesn't behave herself. Drew will deliver a fierce threat to Alexis in her office, so that may involve another attempt to throw blame toward Michael Corinthos. Drew may use Scout Cain visitation as a bargaining chip once more if Alexis refuses to cooperate. Nevertheless, Alexis will stress the importance of keeping Willow a free woman, which can't happen if she's distracted. Unfortunately, Willow will indeed be distracted now that she's witnessed Michael, Jacinda Bracken and Wiley Corinthos hanging out at the Metro Court Gardens. After Willow pulls Michael aside, she'll lash out at him for letting Wiley spend time with an escort. Willow will also rant about Michael setting her up with the weapon involved in Drew's shooting, but he may point out that there's no proof. Ned needs bypass surgery. She hates the room she's in and Jason for bringing her home. He knows that's BS. They recap what happened to Ned and how she saved him. She despises it when he refers to her as a good person. Because you're wrong. Jason denies it. Back at GH, Portia tells Ned's family that Ned needs bypass surgery because 50% of his arteries are blocked. They just confirmed. She'll do all she can to ensure Ned pulls through. She takes Olivia off to sign paperwork for insurance and Chase and BLQ embrace. Olivia has the chapel and Lulu finds BLQ and Chase and asks if she can hang with them if it doesn't upset her. She's asked to stay by BLQ. She does for a while and then BLQ fights tears. She can't lose her dad. Elsewhere, Gio is angry that he took so long to get to know Ned. What if he can't now? He melts down, and Emma tells him not to count him out yet. Drew meets Willow nearby and she tells him what happened with Michael and Jacinda. He's incredulous. She's near tears as she explains. He assures that her ex will be in prison soon. At the Q mansion, Jacinda looks at the artwork from his kid. Wiley's been put to bed. They talk up her meeting with Fred, the kid's toy. She handled Wiley and Willow flawlessly, according to Michael. She jokes around but knows Willow will use it against him. She worries his case will hurt his image in case, but he doesn't care what people think. He has no problem with her being around his kids and had planned to introduce her to them. He gets upset and tells her that Willow's selfish behavior is a trigger for him. Alexis will use this against him. He has to keep his composure while on the stand, though it's not going to be easy. They discuss his defense. He holds her hand, kisses it and thanks her for everything. Danny and Charlotte rush into Bobby's to tell Jason that Dalton caught Rocco breaking into his lab. They were all there. Jason and Britt are stunned. Dalton holds Rocco's arm as he shoves the kid in Laura's face, telling her they need to arrest him for breaking into his lab. Laura looks surprised as Ezra smiles. The halls of General Hospital are once again filled with tension, heartbreak, and emotional turmoil as three major storylines collide: Drew Kane's fierce threat that could shake Port Charles to its core, Rocco Falconeri getting dangerously caught in the crossfire of a risky plan, and the life-or-death battle for Ned Quartermaine as his loved ones anxiously await the outcome of his emergency operation. As these threads intertwine, the consequences will ripple far beyond the hospital walls, testing loyalties, exposing hidden motives, and forever altering relationships across town. It all begins with chaos at the Quartermaine mansion. The shocking news of Ned Quartermaine's sudden collapse sends shockwaves through his family, and Brook Lynn Quartermaine is among the first to arrive at the hospital. Still reeling from the horrifying moment when she learned her father suffered a heart attack, Brook Lynn rushes into GH in full panic mode, demanding answers about Ned's condition. The doctors, led by Lucas Jones, are quick to explain that Ned requires an emergency bypass surgery, a procedure that could save his life but also carries immense risk. The sterile corridors of the hospital become a waiting ground for hope and fear, where every second feels like an eternity. Brook Lynn's eyes well with tears as she leans on Harrison Chase, who stays steadfastly by her side, offering calm reassurance while silently battling his own worry for her. As the minutes tick by, emotions intensify. Brook Lynn can't help but think of all the unresolved moments she's had with her father, the harsh words exchanged, the unspoken gratitude, and the love buried under years of misunderstandings. When Ned is finally wheeled into surgery, Brook Lynn's strength begins to falter, and Chase's comforting embrace becomes her only anchor. But she isn't the only one struggling to hold it together. Olivia Quartermaine stands nearby, praying quietly and clutching Ned's wedding ring, desperate for a miracle. Meanwhile, Tracy Quartermaine hides her own fears behind her trademark steel facade, but the worry in her eyes betrays her. Elsewhere in the hospital, Brook Lynn receives a glimmer of comfort from an unexpected source, Giovanni Gio Palmieri and Emma Scorpio Drake, who were the first to find Ned after his collapse. Their quick thinking and courage helped save Ned's life, and Brook Lynn can't thank them enough. But the teens are quick to shift credit toward Dr. Britt Westbourne, who happened to be nearby and rendered aid until help arrived. Britt, however, doesn't see herself as a hero. Later, she confides in Jason Morgan about her guilt and self-doubt, wondering if she truly did everything she could have. Jason, ever the voice of reason and compassion when it comes to Britt, reminds her of the good she's done and how she's changed over the years. He encourages her to see her own worth, but before their heartfelt talk can continue, the moment is interrupted, possibly by the unexpected arrival of Pascal, whose sudden reappearance is bound to rattle Britt to her core. Meanwhile, across town, a risky teenage adventure is unfolding in secret. Charlotte Cassadine, ever the schemer, has gotten her hands on a key fob that grants access to a restricted hospital lab. She convinces Rocco Falconeri and Danny Morgan to join her in sneaking into the lab, intent on uncovering a mystery tied to a recent hospital scandal. But as the trio quietly tiptoe into danger, their plan is about to unravel spectacularly. Professor Henry Hank Dalton, known for his sharp instincts and ill-timed interruptions, happens to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, or perhaps the right one, depending on your perspective. His unexpected appearance could expose the teens' break-in, alerting Britt and others before the situation escalates further. Unfortunately, Rocco's involvement could have far-reaching consequences. Laura Collins, who has been trying to navigate her duties as mayor while balancing family concerns, opens up to Martin Gray about her growing fears. She worries that Rocco, both her grandson and Sonny Corinthos, could become collateral damage in the ongoing chaos that continues to engulf their families. The crossfire Laura refers to may be both literal and metaphorical, as Rocco stands at the center of a web connecting multiple powerful players, each with conflicting agendas. Whether it's the lab break-in or the underlying Corinthos Quartermaine tensions, Laura senses that danger is closing in on the younger generation faster than anyone realizes. Back at GH, the waiting continues. As the surgical clock runs down, the Quartermaine family is left to face their regrets, secrets, and prayers. Finally, word filters through: Ned's surgery has concluded, but his condition remains critical. The doctors update that the next 24 hours are vital, leaves everyone holding their breath. Olivia weeps softly into Tracy's shoulder, while Brook Lynn clings to Chase, whispering that she can't lose her father. For now, all they can do is wait and hope that Ned finds the strength to pull through. Amid the hospital drama, another storm brews in the offices of the invader. Alexis Davis, already stretched thin by legal troubles and newsroom pressures, is blindsided when Drew Kane storms into her office, seething with fury. His words are sharp and filled with menace, the kind of fierce threat that only Drew, pushed to the brink, could deliver. He accuses Alexis of withholding crucial information and demands her cooperation in a plan that may involve throwing suspicion back onto Michael Corinthos. Alexis, torn between her loyalty to the truth and her desire to protect her family, stands her ground. But Drew's temper flares, and he coldly reminds her that he still holds power over her daughter's access to Scout Kane. It's an emotional gut punch for Alexis, who realizes that Drew is willing to use their shared family connection as leverage. She pleads with him to think clearly, reminding him that their focus should be on keeping Willow Tate out of trouble now that she's out on bail. Unfortunately, Willow's own composure begins to unravel just as Alexis warns it might. A chance encounter at the Metro Court Gardens sends her spiraling into jealousy and outrage. Spotting Michael Corinthos with Jacinda Bracken, the woman once hired as an escort, and their young son Wiley, Willow's fury boils over. She confronts Michael in public, accusing him of exposing their child to someone inappropriate. Her emotions spill out unchecked, and the scene grows tense as bystanders begin to notice. But Willow's accusations don't stop there. She lashes out at Michael for allegedly setting her up with the weapon involved in Drew's shooting, her voice shaking with anger and heartbreak. Michael, however, defends himself calmly, pointing out that there's no concrete proof and that Willow's paranoia may be clouding her judgment. This confrontation could have devastating repercussions for both of them. Willow's freedom is precarious, and any outburst could jeopardize her case. Meanwhile, Michael's patience is wearing thin, and his loyalty to Jacinda may create yet another wedge between him and Willow. Their fractured relationship mirrors the growing tension across Port Charles, a city where every secret, every betrayal, and every lie seems to circle back to the same tangled web of family ties and power struggles. As the night unfolds, the threads of fate continue to tighten. Drew's anger may soon place him on a collision course with Michael, Alexis, and even Sonny, while Rocco's secret adventure could explode into a crisis that leaves the entire Falconary and Corinthos clans reeling. And at the heart of it all lies Ned Quartermaine, the man whose fight for life will serve as the emotional backbone of the story. If Ned pulls through, it may unite his fractured family once more. But if he doesn't, the fallout could unleash a wave of guilt, blame, and vengeance that will tear through the Quartermaines like never before. In the coming days, Port Charles will be tested in ways it hasn't been in years. Love will clash with loyalty, truth will battle deception, and the line between right and wrong will blur. Drew Kane's fierce threat is more than just angry words, it's the spark that could ignite a war. Rocco Falconary's dangerous curiosity may leave him caught in the crossfire, a casualty of adult secrets he doesn't yet understand. And Ned Quartermaine's life hangs in the balance, his fate poised to reshape the entire canvas of General Hospital. As hearts break and alliances shift, one thing is certain, the aftermath of this week's events will change everything. The aftermath of Ned Quartermaine's collapse leaves Port Charles rattled to its very core. The tension at General Hospital grows heavier by the hour, pressing down on everyone like a storm cloud that refuses to break. For the Quartermaines, for Drew Kane, and for the younger generation unknowingly entangled in dangerous games, this day will change everything. The Quartermaine family in crisis. The heart of the Quartermaine mansion has always been equal parts chaos and love, a family known for sharp tongues, grand scandals, and fierce loyalty underneath all the dysfunction. But tonight, all of that fades into background noise as Brook Lynn Quartermaine races through the hospital doors, her heart pounding and her voice trembling as she calls out for updates. She's no stranger to hospital waiting rooms, but this time feels different. This is her father. Brook Lynn's thoughts spiral as she paces outside the OR. Just hours ago, she had brushed off Ned's call about a family business matter, irritated that he wanted to talk about ELQ contracts and not about her music. Now those moments replay in her mind like cruel echoes. What if those were her last words to him? What if she never gets to make things right? Harrison Chase stays close by her side, his hand occasionally brushing hers in silent comfort. Chase has seen trauma. As a detective, he's witnessed fear and grief countless times, but watching Brook Lynn unravel is something else entirely. He wishes he could take her pain away, but all he can do is promise that Ned is strong, that the doctors will do everything they can. Lucas Jones and the surgical team work tirelessly inside the operating room, performing a complicated emergency bypass procedure after Ned's massive heart attack. The monitors beep rhythmically, each sound a reminder that life hangs by a thread. Lucas maintains his calm professionalism, but the weight of the situation isn't lost on him. He knows the Quartermaine family well, and he understands how deeply this outcome will affect the entire town. Outside the OR, Olivia Quartermaine clutches Ned's wedding band so tightly that the metal leaves a faint imprint on her palm. Her prayers come in silent bursts, words she can barely form as tears streak her cheeks. Tracy Quartermaine stands beside her, stoic as ever, but the worry lines on her face tell the truth, she's terrified. She may act tough, but this is her son, and she's haunted by every harsh word she's ever spoken to him. "Come on, Ned," Tracy whispers under her breath, her voice cracking. "Don't you dare leave us. Not like this." Brook Lynn glances toward her grandmother, and for the first time in years, she sees a vulnerability in Tracy that softens her. The Quartermaines are united in fear, and for once, their feuds are forgotten. The family that's built on pride and power is now clinging to hope, fragile, desperate, human hope. Britt Westbourne's guilt and Jason's steady hand. While the family waits, another drama unfolds just down the hall. Britt Westbourne sits on a bench outside the OR, her hands still trembling. She keeps seeing Ned's face when she found him on the floor, the color drained, his breathing shallow. She had reacted instinctively, performing chest compressions until Gio and Emma found help, but now that the adrenaline has faded, guilt consumes her. Jason Morgan approaches quietly, his presence calm and grounding. Britt doesn't even look up as he sits beside her. "I froze for a second, Jason," she says softly. "Just for a second. I thought, what if I did something wrong? What if he doesn't make it because of me?" Jason shakes his head. "You saved his life, Britt. You did exactly what needed to be done. You need to give yourself more credit." Britt lets out a shaky laugh. "Credit's never been something I'm comfortable with. Not when everyone in this town remembers all the things I did wrong." Jason's eyes meet hers, steady and reassuring. "People change. You've changed. Don't let the past keep defining you." For a brief moment, Britt allows herself to believe him. But before she can respond, the automatic doors at the end of the hallway slide open. The sharp click of heels against tile echoes ominously. It's Pascal. Britt's heart skips. The tension that floods her veins is almost unbearable. Jason immediately stands, instinctively positioning himself between Britt and whatever confrontation might be coming. Pascal's appearance may seem coincidental, but in Port Charles, nothing ever truly is. Her arrival could signify a shift, another thread pulling loose in the delicate balance of secrets that tie so many lives together. The teen break in, Rocco in the crossfire. Across the hospital, chaos of a different kind brews in the shadows. Charlotte Cassadine, clever and determined as ever, has convinced Rocco Falconeri and Danny Morgan to sneak into the restricted hospital lab. She's holding the stolen key fob tightly, her expression fierce with purpose. "Come on, you two," she whispers. "We'll be in and out before anyone even knows." Danny hesitates, glancing nervously at Rocco. "I don't know, Charlotte. What if we get caught? My dad will kill me." Charlotte rolls her eyes. "You sound just like your dad." "We're not doing anything wrong, just checking something out." Rocco shifts uneasily, torn between curiosity and the nagging voice of conscience. He doesn't want to disappoint Charlotte, but something about this feels wrong. Still, he follows. The three teens slip inside the lab, unaware of just how dangerous their little adventure will become. Moments later, Professor Henry Hank Dalton walks by, checking on a late-night experiment. He hears faint voices and frowns, stepping closer to the lab door. When he pushes it open, he's stunned to find the teens huddled inside, surrounded by files and lab samples. "What on earth are you doing here?" he demands. Charlotte freezes. Danny drops a folder. Rocco's face drains of color. Before they can explain, alarms blare, triggered by the unauthorized access. Lights flash red. Within moments, security begins to converge on the area. The situation spirals out of control. Britt, alerted by the alarm, rushes toward the lab, Jason not far behind her. When they arrive, the teens are being escorted out by security, faces pale and trembling. Britt's fury and fear collide as she realizes how serious this could have been.